Okay, guys. We are here. I don't even know how I got here. We are live. Let's see, let my guests know I'm live. I don't know what happened. Some things have changed on IG that I'm unaware of. So I want to apologize to you guys for the delay. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Conversations with LaDonna. It's Monday. It's a brand new week with brand new opportunities and brand new challenges, and we will push through, honey. Yes, definitely. Thank you so much, guys. Today, my guest, I'm just very excited to share his story. Okay. And thank you for your patience. Today, my guest is Uchendi Nani. He is an ex-convict that has taken life adversities and turned them around into becoming a very successful business owner and entrepreneur. He has appeared in Ebony Magazine, Black Enterprise, and has spoken with Bishop T.D. Jakes at the Manpower Convention. He is also an author and public speaker. Please push the heart buttons and join me in welcoming my guest to the show today. Thank you so much. Hold on one moment as I bring him on. All right, he's coming on. Thank you for pushing the heart buttons, guys. Thank you for being patient.
How
How
you
are
doing?
you? Thank you for your patience today.
All right. We
Well, so
ready?
exciting to meet you and talk with you and chat with you. I'm not really sure what happened, but we are here. This is the first time I've had a challenge. I think they changed some things, so going live was a little bit different for me today. So I appreciate you for being patient and taking the time to come on here and to share your story with all of us. I am very excited to hear your story. After seeing your live, I think it was last week, I was like, I have to find out a little bit more about this man who has turned life adversities around to being very successful. But before we talk about where you are, I'd like to go to get to know you a little better. So let's talk about your beginnings. I understand that you come from humble beginnings. Can you talk to us about your childhood?
Yeah. My mom married a Nigerian, and they met in college. And after being married to him for 10 years, she had 3 kids, me, my brother, and sister. She found out he had another wife back in Nigeria. So,
Okay.
Afro-American women ain't going for that. And
Mm-mm.
she divorced him. So we were basically literally homeless. My granddaddy came and got us, and we moved in with them in the hood, North Nashville, slept 3 and 4 to a bed. My grandmama and granddaddy, they were roommates. Back then, black people, they ain't get no divorce.
Right.
Granddaddy just lived in another room. Grandma lived in another room. He was a womanizer, drunk.
Mm.
Me and my brother basically stayed in his room with his bed, my mom and sister in other rooms. So grew up with the big block of government cheese, the powdered egg, powdered milk, the paper food stamps. We were always a day late, dollar short. We grew up eating the chitlins with the hot sauce,
Mm.
spaghetti, free lunches,
Yeah.
reduced lunch in school. So that's how I grew up.
Okay. Well, that and is I can't wait to get to where you are today. So that's where you started. You had some challenges. You ended up in prison. At what age did you end up going to prison?
That was in 1993. I was 21 years old.
21 years old.
Yeah, I was 21.
So you have these humble beginnings. You have some challenges there. You go to prison at 21. What was the most challenging thing that you had to face while you were in prison?
The stress of my mom having a nervous breakdown before I went. My
Mm.
sister, the stress of her facing federal prison when I went. And
Mm.
she married my stepdad when I was 8 years old, Dr. Reverend Enoch Jones, who was a Baptist minister. He had one of the largest black churches in Nashville. The stress of all the members
Mm.
talking about him and the family. Um, the stress of him having a stroke while I was in prison,
Oh my
being
goodness.
on a respirator in ICU. They're saying you can either go see him now because he's going to die,
Oh my
or you
goodness.
have the option to see him at the funeral, but you can't do both.
Oh my
So
goodness.
those were the biggest stresses. Because I was at a federal boot camp where they select 200 people a year out of 100,000. It was mainly for white collar criminals, doctors, lawyers, presidents of banks, computer hackers, people on Wall Street, the Bernie Madoff type people that were multimillionaires legally. A lot of them went to Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Stanford. I was locked up, all those type men. We weren't locked up. We was on like a compound in a big old building, like kind of like an army base setting. So
Okay.
that's how it was.
Wow. Wow. So this was your first stint with the law going into this situation here into prison at 21.
Yeah, I'd never been to prison. I was in college,
Wow.
a senior in college.
Wow. Okay. So now you're in prison and you have to figure out how to navigate, how to survive. And I know it's very challenging to be in there. You having to deal with all these things that you're speaking of that's going on outside the prison. Emotionally, you're dealing with family things that you can't even be a part of. And so now you're inside trying to survive at 21 years old. Tell me about you working now as a barber. So you're trying to maintain just some type of normalcy in there, and you're cutting hair for 3 cents. Talk about that experience with us and what made you decide to do that.
Well, it was at a federal boot camp, and there was 200 people there, and we had to work 17 hours a day, hard labor, run 10 miles a day. There was no commissary, and I was the only person that had a barber license, and so I cut everybody's hair, but I wasn't fading and doing all that. We had to cut all our hair like this. Okay. But I just happened to be a barber, and we had to shave all our hair, so I shaved everybody's head, so I got a chance to meet everybody. These rich white guys who got rich legally, and so I was able to pick their brains from the little Chinese man, Bill Young, who was worth 30 million. Wow. The great thing about this, it was like going to Harvard, Yale, or Princeton for free.
Wow.
So it wasn't like what people think,
Right.
This place was designed, the government built this place for white collar criminals who stole millions of dollars, and then they would send them to this place for 6.5 months, and they would come home. Now, when the white collar crimes got really big, they changed a lot of the federal laws. Back when Enron, they started sending people away, giving them cocaine sentences, But back then they weren't.
Yeah. Yeah, so it reminds me of the story when they said Martha Stewart had gone into prison. It was more something similar to this, if I'm not mistaken, as far as being federal. It is not the prison that we envision when we see things on TV. So this is something totally different.
Okay, now I was in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. They had the big house. The big house was what y'all envisioned, like Alcatraz.
Right. Okay?
Club Fed is not Club Fed. Ain't no swimming pool, steak, and all that. That's a myth. Okay. Right. So y'all get that out of y'all's head. But the camp, you're not locked up as far as bars and all that. You got boundaries and stuff. Then the boot camp was over here, and that was just a big old building like an army base. So you got different things if y'all can visualize. Hopefully y'all picking up what I'm putting down.
Right, right. So it's a totally different environment that we envision, but it still was, you still had restrictions and limitations.
Yeah, I mean, the federal boot camp was worse because you work 17 hours a day, hard labor, and run 10 miles a day, and there's no radio, no TV, 1 15-minute phone call a week, no commissary. You got to eat what they give you, breakfast at 6, lunch is at 11, dinner was like at 2. No more food after that. So, wow. And you were deprived of sleep. So it was like hell on wheels. And it was the year that OJ beat his case.
Okay.
So the significance of that, the racism, the level even escalated because there were no black officers in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. And there wasn't many black people at that boot camp. I was one of a handful. So racism was at the utmost.
So you were dealing with that as well because of what was going on the outside. It affected how people treated you on the inside.
Oh yeah, when he beat that case, they put the pressure even on us more.
Wow. So you go through a lot while you're in there. It's challenging for anyone to go inside. And you're dealing with not being able to be outside with your family. You're dealing with trying to maintain some normalcy inside. this OJ case happens and now you're dealing with more racism than normal. What did you learn about yourself while you were in there? To survive? What did you learn about yourself?
That God is real.
Talk
Because
about.
I grew up in the church. You know, that's how I grew up. But, you know, we read the Bible, go to church. In our house, we had to go to church. That was mandatory.
Right.
You know, it wasn't no questions asked. You know, you read the stories of Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, in the fire furnace, Daniel in the lion's den. You read all that stuff, but you don't believe actually until God does something in your life. And then even at that point, I knew to read my Bible and trust and believe. You know, I had to have faith. I couldn't see it, but I just had to believe it, although I couldn't see it. You know, faith is like walking, but you can't see it. You know, so I just had to lean on my faith. But I'd already seen God work. See, when I went to the boot camp, yeah, I had stress, but you have to realize I was facing 30 years of life.
Wow.
I was like the biggest cocaine dealer in Nashville.
Wow.
It was the largest cocaine bust ever at that time back then.
Wow.
So with that being said, I was looking at 30 years of life, you know. So I had a public defender. I lost all my money, every dime. So I went and quoted a public defender. I didn't get caught with drugs. Somebody else got caught, the guys that worked for me. Luckily, by the grace of God, when we got out on bond, they got busted again. But they really couldn't use them against me. What they were saying that I was the leader, and I was saying I was not the leader. They got caught all the cocaine. Those over $1 million were for cocaine. But we going back and forth to court for 2 years. I looked just like this, a schoolboy, you know, except I had my glasses, suit on. That's how I was brought up. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor. The guys that worked for me, they were real street dudes. They look like street dudes. They talk like street dudes. Their respect level to those Caucasians in the courtroom were like street dudes. So naturally, the courts didn't believe that this little schoolboy on the dean's list, senior in college, is running a multi-million-dollar cocaine operation and taking $18 a semester and living at home with his mama. There's no way he can be moving millions of dollars worth of cocaine. So I don't know if you say it played out right or whatever. I say it was God. So after looking at all that time and getting to go there, it took a lot off of me, but I still had nightmares because when you deal cocaine at that level, things are going to happen that you don't want to discuss or talk about that will haunt you. So I was dealing with that too. I dealt with that for 11 years after I got out.
Oh, okay. You know. So let's talk. So you served your time because you were facing 30 to life, but you did what, 3 or 2 years?
No, I did a year.
A year.
Anybody would say, well, he was a snitch. I had all of Nashville on lockdown. Nobody else went to prison. I didn't tell on Man, Bobo, Skibo. None of those guys went to prison. So the guys here in Nashville, the street dudes, they know that. I call them the street ninjas. They all know that, you know, I didn't tell because I didn't have to testify. I didn't do none of that.
But you're able to get out in a year.
Exactly.
Wow. So let's talk about, you served the time, you went through those emotional challenges of being in there, but you survived that time and you were able to come out in a year. Take us back to the day you were released from prison. What was that day like? Where did you go and who did you see first after being out away from everybody for a year?
Okay, I got out November 15th, 1995, Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. They took me to the bus station and put me on the Greyhound bus, a 28-hour bus ride home.
Wow. I
touched down in Nashville 20 hours later the next day. No money, no job, no driver's license, bad credit, a black man, okay? I didn't have a driver's license because I got a ticket back then when I turned myself in. And that $20 speeding ticket turned into probably $2,400, restitution fees, reinstatement, all that, because they didn't take me to court when I had the ticket. So that's why I didn't have no license. So when I get home at the bus station downtown Nashville, my mama picks me up. Okay. She was the person that answered the phone call every week, one 15-minute phone call. Okay.
Yeah. Always. So
she wrote me every week. I had cards and I had a piece of paper And I wrote down on that piece of paper what I was going to do. I'm enjoying retiring you. I'm enjoying buying you a mansion. I'm enjoying making $1 million. I'm enjoying having real estate. I'm enjoying owning a barber school. I wrote all that down. I handed it to her. I'm enjoying going back to college, taking 42 hours in 1 year and graduating from Tennessee State University and handing you my degree. All that was wrote down. The family thought I was crazy.
Because you were speaking this into existence, and they couldn't see that.
They didn't realize I had been around all these multi-millionaire white guys, over 190 self-made millionaires that talked about Jim Rohn, Earl Nightingale, Napoleon Hill, Bob Proctor, I can go on and on and on.
Wow.
So when I came home, I was 24, but I didn't have the mind of a 24-year-old. My mind was probably 20 years ahead of everybody else's. So they weren't understanding what my mind frame was. I wasn't looking at pretty women like you. You know, I wasn't trying to holler at y'all. I'm used to going to strip joints, making it rain. I wasn't studying none of that. I wasn't watching TV. No football.
Wow.
None of that. I was focused. Shopping at Goodwill. Okay? Wasn't trying to shop to impress. I had no money. Riding the MARTA bus. So my mindset was focused on what I had to do, the task at hand. Now, Bill Young was worth $30 million, little Chinese dude. And he told me how he got that money. I said, well, you came over here and y'all got them grants and them loans, didn't you? He said, no. He said, we live like black people won't live for a couple of years. After that, we live like black people can't.
Wow.
And so he broke that down. About 15 of them lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. His part of the bills was $20 a month. After 2 years of working 2 or 3 jobs, and I said, we can't do that. He said, yeah, because you black people, you lazy. We Chinese people, we work 2, 3 jobs. So when we come home, we tired. You black people, you lazy, you don't work. So you fuss and cuss and fight all day because you got a lot of energy. So I said, what'd you do? After 2 years, he took that money and opened a Chinese restaurant. That's all he knew how to do. He said, God gives everybody a talent. If you don't use it, he's going to give it to the ones that does use their talent. He moved in the back of that restaurant, took sponge baths. Restaurant started doing good. I said, what did you do, Bill? I'm young, because we called each other last name. He said, I did what you did when you bought cocaine. You re-up, you buy more. So I re-up, I got another restaurant. So he kept flipping and hiring people, buying real estate. So that's how he got up. And I said, well, what am I going to do? I'm broke. I'm a black man, bad credit, no job, no driver's license. Ain't nobody going to hire me. And if they do, I'm going to get paid peanuts. And so based on his story, what he told me, who makes the most money in the hair industry? I said, school owners. I said, they get millions of dollars from the government. When you go to school, you don't get paid. It's like modern day slavery, like what we're doing on this little camp here. And they got to pay to go to school. And they get the kids wholesale, the products wholesale, sell it to the students retail. They get the vending machines, the snacks wholesale, sell it to them retail. So I said, I'm going to get a school. Now, I'm 26. Right. I'm 24 at the time. So I had that on my mind. That's what I was going to do. So when I got home, you know, I was at the halfway house, federal halfway house. Because when you do Fed time, you don't just walk out the gate and you free. You got to go to the federal halfway house. Right. And when you get a job, you got to pay them 25% of what you make. So I enrolled back in college and I'm looking for a job. Nobody will hire me. Right. Because they ask that question, have you ever been convicted of a felony? Yes. Okay, now you want to be nosy. Explain. So I got to explain. Trafficking cocaine, conspiracy to distribute cocaine, aiding and abetting, gun charges. They charged me with everything that my co-conspirators got charged with. So now my record looks like I'm just John Gotti, El Chapo or somebody, you know, this bad person. Right. Well, they wouldn't hire me. And I'm going everywhere looking for jobs. Right. And I'm writing it down. So 3 days. So they said, well, you know, if you don't find a job sooner or later, we got to send you back to prison to finish the rest of your time. Oh my goodness. And I'm thinking, okay, this is supposed to be rehabilitation. Right. This is called return. So I got these restitution fees, court costs that I got to pay. I have no job, so I can't pay that. I can't pay the 25% of the halfway house. So now y'all gonna send me back to prison. It's a vicious cycle. Yeah, so it's a effed up cycles, you know. So, but people don't know this unless you've been in the system, and they wonder why black men or whoever return and all that. So I'm in a rock and a hard place. So absolutely, I finally get a job. I'm cutting hair at the halfway house, doing manicures, pedicures, guys' feet. They calling me all kind of sissies and faggots and all kind of derogatory things. But I'm not listening to that. As long as you don't knock the stick off my shoulder, I'm cool with that. You can say what you want to say. Just don't put your hands on me.
Absolutely.
So I'm dealing with that. I finally got a job at the campus salon, Tennessee State University. They had 3 chairs in there. 2 ladies was working in there. And I went in there 3 days before they was going to send me back. Why didn't I go in there before him? I'm just thinking, well, they ain't going to hire me or whatever. And I say, man, I just got out of prison. I need a job. They ready to send me back. I'm back in church. I used to sell cocaine, but I don't do that anymore, ma'am. And I'm looking at her in the eye.
Right.
And she looks at me. Older black lady, Miss Hattie Burns. She said, boy, you don't look like you sold no cocaine. You got your pants pulled up, your shirt tucked in, your belt on. You saying, yes, ma'am, no, you got good manners. So I know your mama raised you right. I'm going to give you that job. But you got a license? I said, yes, ma'am.
That's a blessing.
Now I got the job. And I'm the only barber on campus. I'm passing out. My mom made some flyers, about 4,000 flyers. I passed them out. I sprayed cologne on them. I didn't give them to the women that look like you. I didn't give them to the dime pieces. I gave them to the women that was a little hard on the eyes, not the one that's slim and trim like you, cute in the face, slim in the waist, not like that. The opposite of you. They came. I arched their eyebrows. I compliment them. They go telling everybody else. Because, you know, them type of way, they talk a lot. Girl, you better go get your nails, your hair done by 10 or whatever. So I started doing about 20 people a day.
Wow.
At $10 a watt, $200 a day.
Wow.
I'm shopping at Goodwill. I'm not trying to holler at no women that look like you. No, 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 no. I ain't studying none of that on campus. They weren't going to talk to me anyway because I was broke, really. I'm taking a sack lunch, 2 sack lunches to work, and then I'm going to school at night because I needed 18 hours to graduate. At the end of the year, I walk across that stage, Dean's List, I have over $40,000 saved.
Wow.
From sacrificing and living below my means. Not no Gucci, Louis, not no French manicure like you got on, lipstick, none of that. Have done, no. I didn't spend no money on nothing.
Right.
So I took that money and invested in the best investment that you can make. Yourself. Can't nobody pay you what you're going to pay yourself. Absolutely. I hired myself.
I love it. Doesn't
matter what the judge said. You're a convicted felon. The only thing you're going to have is a job with your name and a blue khaki suit. You never mounted anything. You never been able to vote. I can vote. Been voting for years. Don't let people tell you what you can and cannot do.
Absolutely.
So I got my voting rights back years ago, and then I opened a beeper place because beepers was popping back in 1996.
I remember those days.
Okay, and I opened up across from the projects out South Nashville called South Paging. And that building didn't even have a bathroom, a little raggedy building. And I knew that a lot of low income, I wouldn't say low income, but poor-minded thinking people, they buy what they want and beg for what they need.
Wow.
So they come over there and buy them beepers. And made quite a bit of money from that. And no bathroom. The reason why I say no bathroom, because sometimes I'd have to use the bathroom. And I remember those days. Because back then I was still eating crazy. I didn't become vegan until years back or whatever. But I was eating chitlins and all that. My stomach was bubbling one day. I couldn't make it down there. So what I had to do, I remember doing number 2 in that building in the trash can and wiping my behind, wrapping it up, taking it back outside, throwing it in the trash, and putting the open sign back on. My urinating thing was a bottle. That's how it was. It doesn't matter how you start out.
It's how you finish.
It's how you finish. So a lot of people will look at me now. Yeah, we're the only blacks on this street in a 10,000 square foot mansion or whatever. But don't forget where you come from. I remember how I started. And then I opened a school at 26, the youngest school owner in the United States. They said, well, you're crazy. How you going to get that school? I joined Ms. Bellman's program, who was my mentor.
Right, right.
You got your network will determine your net worth. This was a white lady, okay?
I posted her picture of the 2 of you guys, and so you guys can go back and see that.
So I invested in her program. She became my mentor because you got to have a plug.
Yeah.
You're only strong as your plug.
Right.
I mean, same It's the same business principles. Well, how did you blow up and become the biggest cocaine dealer? I hooked up with Carlos Francisco Mendita, the plug. How did you get your schools and make $17 million in 19 years and graduate thousands of students? I hooked up with the plug, Miss Velma. So now this young black dude opens a school. I didn't have a lot of money, about 20-something thousand then. Okay. How did you do it? I found a building, studied the rules and regulations like she said. The only building I could afford was in the hood where I grew up. There was a raggedy building in the shopping center. I mean, it was ragged as cray, all get out.
Now this was was this near the Beeper place or somewhere?
No, it was on the other side of town.
Okay.
And so I paid the first and last month's rent. They ain't check no credit, do none of that. Now I got to fix this raggedy building up to put it in compliance with state board. It was 1,600 square feet, what state board required. I need 15 desks and chairs, 5 shampoo bowls, 3 hair dryers. So I put a down payment with Richard at Byright in Atlanta. Put $2,000 down. He shipped me the equipment. My flooring, paint, and all that. Who am I gonna get? I can't go down the codes and get all of that. So I put newspaper up on the windows. So when they was working codes, and couldn't nobody see what they was doing. So I hired my former crackhead friends and drunks in the neighborhood, because the cracks and drunks, they got, some of them can paint, do flooring, plumbing, electrical. I pay them by the day, LaDonna. I didn't pay them by the week. You know why?
They needed daily to do what they needed to do to get what they needed.
Well, if you paid them by the week, LaDonna, they would not show up the next day.
Oh.
See, I'm from the hood. I know how they roll.
Right.
You can't pay a crackhead or a drunk up front. Pay them by the day. All right? So I got it. I go to Home Depot every day and Lowe's. Got it up to standards. Boom. I got open. Guess how many students I had? 0.
Oh.
Now, I had to have 15 applications. So they said, well, you can't get open because you ain't got 15 students. Miss Velma broke it down. You have to have 15 applications, Chen. Here's the application. Go tell your family members and friends to fill this out. So when it's time to go to the state board, they're going to approve you. Now I need to have an instructor's license. So I took the instructor test in May of 1998 and passed. I opened my school May the 28th, 1998. Now, I have pictures and all this stuff to show y'all, but I'm not going to show y'all that on here. Make a long story short, I let my first batch of students pay whatever they could. Because look, it was like modern day slavery. Because I had these students to work on the clinic floor. If you came in and got your eyebrows done, your hair, nails, whatever, the students had to do it. Guess who got paid? Me, the school owner. Students don't get paid. Did you go to college?
Yes.
You didn't get paid, did you?
No.
Okay. Now, that's the same way with beauty school. It's like you got a big old shop and all these people, men and women, doing the services, and you get the money. Plus, I let them pay what they could on a down payment and monthly payment. Some of them couldn't pay nothing. If you can give me 30 to 40 hours a week, you can come. Some of them didn't even have money for clippers. I bought clippers and put them in suitcases. They would get the suitcase with the clippers. I'm working. Ms. Velma's giving me all the paperwork, so I'm following the state board rules and regulations, the federal government rules and regulations, and NACA's, their accrediting commission. Because the goal is to make it 3 years. And then you're going to get the government grants, the Pell grants, the sub and unsub student loans. You remember that in college?
Yes.
Okay. So that was to make it to 3 years. She said the goal, find something you can manage, something you can afford. And there had been no other school the past 50 years. It was a white school, black school, been there about 50 years. So all the other barbers, hairstylists, their mindset was graduate from school, go work in the shop. Next level, their dream was to own their own shop.
Right.
You got to dream big. Think big. You got to dream like a fool. No, my dream wasn't to open no shop. Hell, I'm a child of God. I'm getting to school. I'm going to the top. Right. The Paul Mitchell Empire. Hopefully y'all picking up what I'm putting out. Quit thinking small. Hell, even thugs don't dream small. They ain't saying my dream is to sell an 8-ball or a 16 or an ounce or a quarter ounce. No, they want to move bricks, them keys, yo. Think big.
Right.
So we got to start thinking big. So I'm getting to school, and I'm going to be accredited. So the 3rd year, I go to the conference at 18 months. it's 2 or 3 black people there. I'm like a little kid because I'm 26 years old. I'm
Right.
49 now, so you can imagine how I looked at 26. So now they look at me all, so you work for a school owner? No, I am a school owner. None of those Caucasians there told me about Miss Velma. Some of them was in her program. None of them told me about it. They didn't know I was in her program.
Mm-hmm.
Third year, my final inspection, 4 Caucasians come down in the suits looking like the feds. They think they can tear my school apart. They scared to come into school, the hood, and they come in there, they go through all my paperwork. Scored a 100, 0 limitations, tons of paperwork. Now, this is like a dissertation.
Right, right.
But I had the school blueprint, Miss Velma. Every student that would call, do you have any grants? No, but I will have them soon. Give me your name, your number, and your address. When I got accredited, boom, I knew it was supposed to be a Pablo Escobar, El Chapo, one of them Scarface moments.
Yeah.
So now the government gives me $513,000 to train these students. Boom. Clinic floor is already doing $1,500, $2,000 a week. Okay. Now I'm still on federal parole.
Right.
Every month. Okay. Every month I'm on the street. Every month you got to go down to the Fed building and give them your report, your job, how much money you made, whatever. Boom. My statement is $50,000, $100,000 a month. All right. Now I'm still on federal parole. Guess who giving me all that money? Who wired it to my account? The federal government. Federal funds, pay rent, sub, unsub. Okay.
Right. Right.
Now I'm making all this money. Guess what I gonna do? I re-up. I re-up in the rich white area and got an 11,000 square foot building with over 200 something students. Now I go and I have the biggest barber school in the whole United States. God said the first shall be last, the last shall be first. He's Alpha and Omega from Genesis to Revelation. One thing God cannot do, God cannot lie. Whatever God told you, if God said this shirt is red and that cute black dress is hanging off them shoulders is red, it will become what he said. Right. I know what God told me. The devil is a liar. I don't care what man said, what people say. You got to believe in God. Trust God's provision, though the sources may seem unlikely. You got to have vision.
Right.
Okay? So now I'm making even more money. I'm going to the prisons, the men's prisons, the women's prisons. I'm picking them up. I'm going to their parole hearings, letting them know I'm buying houses, halfway houses by the schools, so they have somewhere to stay. They can come to my school. Then they have a job. Then I'm showing them how to open their business. I'm showing them about real estate, showing them how to get their own shop. So now I'm changing lives, the community. So I do that for 19 years. Then retire. Then I retired my mom 14 years ago. Wow. And when we were kids, she drove us to Brentwood. Brentwood, Bell Mead is where the rich white people live here in Nashville. If anybody's been here, they know where that's at. That's the multi-million-dollar homes. My mom would take her last $20. She'd take her last $20, pay $5 for me, my brother, my sister, and her to expose us to the parade of homes where you get to visit them homes. She would do that.
Just to plant that in your mind.
To plant that seed.
Oh, yes.
She knew she would never be able to do it.
Right.
But just to plant that, and I would look at her when I was a kid, I'd say, Mama, when am I gonna buy you a house like this? And I'm telling you that because she lives in a 10,000 square foot house, 8 bedrooms, 7 baths, 2 kitchens.
I love it.
She used to shampoo her hair in the sink. Now she has a beauty salon. She can do her hair. Okay.
That's wonderful.
So God is real.
Yes, he is.
And not just financial freedom. The best things are family.
Yeah.
Freedom.
Absolutely.
And a peace of mind. Money can't buy that. For 11 years, I couldn't sleep because of all the things that transpired that I have to go to my grave to talk about. I can't talk about it here. And I would pray to God every night. Every night, I would pray for him to put me to sleep so I could have some rest, a peace of mind. I couldn't even watch movies with people with violence. Or I would have violent nightmares, sweating and everything. So a peace of mind, family, freedom. To do number two in the bathroom with no man in there.
What we take for granted.
What y'all take for to eat a bowl of cereal, to be able to drink this juice. So my mindset is a little different than everybody else's. I see things different. That's why I didn't have time to play. My dad lived another 13 years when I got out of prison. I asked God one thing: let my parents live long enough for them to see me turn my life around.
Yeah.
So I was racing against time. I didn't have time to smoke weed, snort cocaine, shoot heroin, go to the strip joints, make it rain, buy Gucci, Louis. I didn't have time to do that.
Right.
I wanted to be able to take care of my mama. So I worked hard. I read thousands of books. I looked at the YouTube with Tony Robbins and all of the gurus.
Right.
I fed my spirit every day with T.D. Jakes, and I still feed my spirit.
Did you meet T.D. Jakes at a Manpower convention and he laid hands on you?
I was in Ebony Magazine, and they called the school, and they said, I want to fly you to Manpower. That was in 2000. And I said, well, I can't go because I can't leave the county. If I do, they'll lock me back up because I'm on 5 years paper. He said, well, ask your probation officer. And I said, well, they're not going to let me go. And he said, well, I want to fly you here. You speak to 20,000 men.
Wow.
Well, I'm an introvert. People that are close to me, y'all don't know that, but people close to me know I don't talk a lot, really. Well, I was hoping and praying that my PO would say no.
Because you didn't want to talk in front of all these people. No,
that's like one of the scariest things to do in life is talk, speak, public speak. So he said yes, and I'm thinking, dang, I can't lie to the bishop, you know.
Right.
So I said, okay. Well, they gave me a 2-day furlough. And
wow.
I was reading Rich Dad Poor Dad back in 2000. And my friend scotch taped a fake book cover on the front of that. And while I was there on stage, I asked him, what I got to do? He said, just tell your story, your testimony. And I'm thinking, oh, that's easy. I can tell them how I sold kilos of cocaine. And the next day, you know, Saturday night was in the strip joints making it rain. And Sunday morning, I had a loaded 9mm pistol behind my back on the third row behind the deacons listening to my daddy preach. I can tell all of that story. So with the old ladies with the lopsided wigs, with the fish duty smelling breath kissing me on my jaws. So, I mean, I could tell that story the way it was. And I held up that book, the Rich Dad Poor Dad, that had the fake book cover that my friend had put on it.
Right.
The camera zoomed in on it. Bishop Jakes talked about it. Then he laid hands on me. Preachers got money. When my dad was a preacher back, they ain't had no money.
Right, right.
I sold over pre-sold about $90,000 worth of books that I didn't have.
And this was the Millionaire Ex-Convict book?
That was the Millionaire Ex-Convict book. But before that, I had already sold another $40-something thousand worth of books because I was in the Ebony Magazine, and they sent all these letters, about 4,000 or 5,000 letters to my mama's house. Because they had ex-convict, now millionaires, had me a mugshot. Because they asked, could they put the mugshot? I said, yes, because there are a lot of black men, they need to see this. Right. And black mothers need to see this, that young men can turn their life around. Absolutely. So they asked me all these nosy questions. Black folks, some of the nosiest people. How'd you get out of prison and turn your life around? Why you didn't do this? So my friend said, man, make a postcard. He was good with graphics. He made a postcard with the Ebony Magazine and a fake book just to cover. Said send $15 plus $3.50 shipping and handling, and the book will be shipped in 4 to 6 weeks. We mailed out all the postcards, 4,000, 5,000 postcards. Do you realize about 3,000? It was $45,000, so it was $18. We had about 3,000 people to respond with money, with checks, and with money orders. Because back in 2000, wasn't no debit, all that stuff now.
Cash
I'm sitting on all these people's money. Plus, I went to Manpower. Now I got all this money with no book.
No book.
Bishop Jason said, I'm going to help you. You're going to go on a speaking tour. You're going to go around the world, and you just got to tell this story. And they're going to pay you and do all this. I'm thinking, wow. So now, no book. A month passed. I tell my mom, what I did when I came back home. You know, and I sold all the books. I got this money and stuff. And you know what she said?
What?
She said, Chin, your ASS is going back to prison.
Because you don't have the books to give the people.
I said, I know. I said, what am I going to do? She said, figure it out. So I go in the yellow pages, because this is 2000, trying to find somebody to write this book. Nobody would do it.
So you don't have a book written. You don't have one word written.
I ain't got nothing.
But you have pre-sold these books.
If you look at the YouTube, when Bishop Jakes lays hands on me, if you watch that video closely, when I hold up that book, y'all will see the back of it is Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And y'all will see some paper on the front of that book with Scotch tape, now that I've told y'all.
Now I've got to go back and watch. I did see that, but I didn't pay attention to that.
Yeah, y'all will see that. So now, a month passes. Preacher started calling. Yes, Chin, this is Dr. Such and Such. We were calling about the 200 books that we ordered for our prison ministry. I said 4 to 6 weeks. So I got 2 more weeks.
Which is, you haven't written the book yet.
I ain't done nothing.
Okay.
But, LaDonna, I knew how to type. How did I know how to type? Because in 9th grade at Maplewood High School, all the pretty women that looked like LaDonna was in typing. And me and my partner, Leon Fisher, said, man, we're going to get in the typing class.
I love
it. We became the best typers in there. We didn't miss a day, a minute, a second of that class, because all y'all women was up in there. We became the best typers. So I knew how to type. I went and got a book about this dude that went to prison, got out and turned his life around. He had 3 brothers and 2 sisters. I had 1 brother and 1 sister. He dedicated his book to his mama. I dedicated my book to my mama. He talked about how he sold heroin and ran women. I talked about how I sold cocaine and ran women. I told the story the same way he told his, but it was my story.
Right.
Okay? Right. I locked myself in the bedroom. I finished it in less than a week. 150 pages.
Oh my God.
Okay? Sent the manuscript to Whitehall Publishing Printing down in Naples, Florida. I'll never forget it. Because they called me and said, we got to send you 1 copy. I said, no, send me my 5,000 copies.
Oh my gosh.
They said, no, we can't do that. You got to proofread it. I said, no. I said, put the owner or whoever's in charge on the phone. They put them on the phone. I said, send me my books now. I've paid for them. No, you can't. Are you crazy? I said, look, I need them right now.
Right, you need them yesterday.
He said, okay, we're going to fax you this document. And once you sign it, we're going to ship them up there. Be up there in a couple of days. I signed it. Books came. UPS dropped them off. Me and my sister putting them in the envelopes. We put them in the boxes, shipping them out. Hey, it was grammatical error to the 10th. To the 10th power. I did not even have enough sense to hit the button on the computer to do a spell check. I was under so much pressure, I wasn't thinking. But you know what? That book became the #1 seller in the prisons for years, and it brought back me over $1 million-something.
Wow.
Okay.
You know, because they could probably relate to it. It wasn't perfect. It was relatable
right.
to those
and so
that was reading it. Wow.
Freeway Ricky Ross, the biggest black cocaine dealer ever, read my book while he was in prison. He flew down here to Nashville, Tennessee when he got out. And he wrote a book and said I inspired him.
Wow.
So that book, The Millionaire Ex-Convict, was, guys would read that book that didn't read.
Right.
Because I started it with a hook, talking about, 1,008 grams a kilogram, 36 ounces in the key, half a kilogram, 18 ounces, 504 grams, a quarter key, 4 quarters in the key, 252 grams, 9 ounces, an ounce of cocaine, 28 grams, half ounce, 14 grams, quarter ounces, 4 quarters in an ounce, 7 grams, an 8 ball is 8 balls in an ounce, a 16 an ounce. Then I talked about the strippers and all that to hook them.
Right. They knew what to, they can relate to what you was, I'm lost, but they can relate to what
it's called a bait and switch. I talked about the school women like you who were smart and parents sent them to the college. And then they was dating guys like me that didn't know that there was major cocaine dealers and sending them on airplanes with money and doing all kind of crazy stuff. So I talked about that in the beginning, and I did a bait and switch. And then I segued into God. How he transformed my life and how he'll do yours. And how you got to cut off the negative family members and friends and renew your mind and work on your personal development. So I segue into all of that. So that's how I hooked them in. And you got to pull your pants up and look like you somebody. And you are somebody. So that book, before Instagram, social media, none of that, I was traveling before all these. The only big black speech they did was motivation was Les Brown. I hit every major place, and they would pay me thousands of dollars to get up and tell my story. I knew when they was gonna laugh, I knew when they was gonna cry, and then they was gonna rush the back of the room to buy all the books. So I did that for years.
Wow. Let me look at some of the comments. People are saying your hustle is hard. My father was on here. Hey, Daddy. He was saying you're passionate, you're serious about what you're talking about. Someone said, I love this hustle spirit. When your back is against the wall, you make a plan. You make a plan. I can't read the rest of that. It's a good way. So people are commenting about the things that you're saying, laughing around with the things that you're saying as well as some of the funny things you're saying. Thank you guys for tuning in. I know you guys have seen the flyer of this gentleman that I'm speaking with today. We're talking about his transition from being in the street, going to prison, coming out of prison, and being successful. So he is sharing his journey, and I'm very excited to talk to him. So thank you guys for tuning in. Someone said, amen. What shall profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? Thank you, Lizzie from Canada. Guys, if you have any questions, please put them in the little question bubble below. We really appreciate you tuning in and listening to his story. Yes. So you have written 2 books, the millionaire ex-convict and the millionaire barber stylist. Talk about your second book.
The second book was because I didn't want to work behind the chair. At a young age, my back was hurt, my neck, my feet, ankles, everything. So I knew at an early age in the game, doing hair is hard work.
Yes, yes.
It will beat your body down. Velcro veins, copper tunnel, rotator cuff, it will beat you up. So I was young and I said, no, this is not for me. So I knew beauty professionals would want to learn how to escape from behind that chair, how to get from behind the chair. Yeah, they love their passion, but they didn't want to be slaving doing it all day long. Right. So that's why I wrote that book, to give them principles and a blueprint to show them things that they can do to get from behind the chair. Because see, they're at the lowest level of wealth. They're practicing the animalistic way of making money. There are 4 levels to wealth. The first level is muscle. If you make money with your muscle, exchanging time for money, you're going to be broke. And you're going to be tired and broke down. The second level to wealth is managing people. That's still hard. Try managing a bunch of ninjas. It's gonna be tough. Okay, it's gonna be really tough. You still broke, but now the third and fourth level, that puts you in position to make unlimited amounts of money. The third level, message, your mouth. Kevin Hart, T.D. Jakes, your mouth. Will Smith, your mouth. You're getting paid by talking, by teaching. Right. Okay? Now, that puts you in position to earn unlimited amounts of income. Your mouth. Teach a course one time with your cell phone, record it, put it in a digital online academy, sell it to the whole wide world. Right. Your mouth. Now, it puts you in position to make money faster. Right. See, $1 million is not $1 million when you put it up against time. The average barber stylist touches $4 to $5 million over a period of probably 20 to 30 years or whatever. Okay? But when you create a system, an automated business system online where you've taken your gifts, your talents, your expertise, and recorded it and put it in a digital platform that can change somebody's life or solve their problem or show them how to look as beautiful as you with the eyebrows, the lashes, lipstick, hair, whatever. When you tell, or show them how to lose weight and be slim and trim with an online system, now you can make money at record speed.
Right.
Boom, 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 boom. They go online. So now you're making money faster and you're not exchanging time for money. You've leveraged. You've leveraged this system. See, when you leverage systems and tools, it gives you an unfair advantage.
Right.
See, you could beat Usain Bolt. You know who that is?
Yeah, track.
You could beat him in the 100-yard dash if you leverage the motorcycle. You could go farther, faster, and exerting less energy. So that's with these tools, the ClickFunnels, the ConvertKit, and all this stuff, the automated webinars, what I'm using to leverage. Now I'm cheating time. See, then the fourth level of wealth is imagination. Whatever your mind can think. See, Steve Jobs didn't do a lot of that stuff. He thought about it and had somebody else to do it. A lot of the online stuff that I do, I don't know how to do your hair. I don't know how to relax, color. I don't know how to do none of that. Well, how'd you have a school for 19 years? I can read My Lady's book and tell you exactly what that says.
Right.
So now, with this level of wealth, when you leverage these systems and tools, okay, I got 10 businesses online. How many hours in a day, LaDonna?
Let's say it's 24. 24
hours. I have 10 online businesses. 24 hours times 10 businesses, 10 is 240 hours per day. I'm working 240 hours a day. Times 365 days. 86,400 hours I'm doing in a year. Okay? But now, all the other barbers, stylists, nail techs, the other beauty professionals, and people in other areas, entrepreneurs, they working 8 hours a day. Muscle, exchanging time for money, 8 hours a day. Do you know how long it'll take them to accumulate 86,400 hours, what I'm doing in a year? It'll take them 42 years.
Wow.
What I'm doing in a year. So now I'm time collapsing. See what I'm down here doing? I'm time collapsing. As we on here, my phone has been going out. People have been buying stuff online. See, leverage.
Right.
Okay? See, you could beat anybody. If y'all went to a dome and got ready to fight, who gonna win the fight? A black belt, a gladiator? LaDonna's gonna win the fight. LaDonna can pull up in a wheelchair. You know why she's gonna win? Because she's gonna leverage a Uzi. She leveraged another system and tool. So see, when your mind and you connect with the right people, like Miss Belma, the school blueprint, I know it's the best thing on earth as far as opening the school, becoming a creator, getting government money. My Caucasian friend was in the business forever. She wrote the program. It's bulletproof. Systems and principles don't fail. People do.
Right, because you don't apply them. What advice could you give someone who is trying to be, well, let's start out, okay, let's twofold. What advice would you give someone who's trying to be an entrepreneur and has these challenges? Because there's so many different roadblocks when you're trying to start your business. And obviously, you know how to push through it. So what advice would you give?
I would first find a painful problem to solve. And whatever people are already asking you for and worrying the heck out of you about. See, CPS, customer problem solution. If people, let me break this down. So hopefully y'all pick it up what I'm putting on. If people are already asking you, how do you lose weight? How do you stay so slim or whatever?
Yeah.
Take your cell phone, record step by step what you eat, how you work out, every single thing you do. That's an online course.
Yeah, because I get questions a lot, and everyone keeps telling me I need to do these things. So this is speaking to me as well.
So sell the information, and that doesn't take any money. Then you can pre-sell it. I pre-sold courses when I did the Man Weave unit. I don't know if y'all remember when I did that Man Weave unit, that course.
Oh, yeah.
I never did a unit. Melissa, Miracle Barber MD did my units. I didn't know how to do a unit. I just came on social media. This is what y'all should do. And it's free. Get your Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. All right? That's free. Name it the same name. Okay? Man Weave Unit, whatever. On Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. After you do that, come on every day and just give content. Give value. Outvalue everybody. If you come on every single day giving value about that one specific thing, people are going to start following you. They're going to become intrigued. Give stuff that other people would charge for. Okay? Now, what's going to happen? People are going to say, well, LaDonna, can you teach me how to do that? When are you going to come out with such and such? Now, then you tell them, I have a course that's coming out in 60 days or 30 days. It's going to be $497, but you can get it right now for $97, the beta. Okay? Now you get their money. And you can use that money to do some other things, or pay some people like me or whoever to build it out for you or whatever. So now what you've done, you use CBS, NBC, ABC, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can come on live and talk. Do you realize you can come on live? When I come on live, do y'all realize when I come on and talk, my inbox gets full, DMs, people want to give me money. They want to give me their money happily. So y'all got to quit being scared. So that's what you can do, and concentrate on that one thing. So you can utilize Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, have the same name.
You have to brand yourself so people can know who you are, for sure.
And they pay for problems. Have you ever had a toothache?
Oh, yeah.
What'd you do?
Go to the dentist.
But when you need a cleaning, sometimes we'll prolong that or procrastinate. Not you, because your teeth are sparkly cocaine white. But everybody else, we'll procrastinate. But if you got a toothache and your jaw swollen, and you got a headache, and you've been up all night, and when you drink something cold, it hurts, you will gladly go to that dentist and pay him, no matter what it costs. So the more painful the problem is, find that group of people. And market to their pain.
Now, I saw on your IG page where you congratulate several of your students who have successfully opened the school. How does it feel to see those students succeed? Because I see a couple of them on here as well making comments.
Feels good because I know that they're going to be financially free, and they're going to have time freedom, and they'll be able to go buy whatever they want. And live the lifestyle they want. And they'll have their body's not going to be broke down. See, your health is your greatest wealth.
Absolutely.
And about your money's good, but your health, and their shop will beat you up. And break you down.
I've always wondered how they do that, all day, every day.
They trust me, they sleep with black gloves, copper tonneau, get home, knees burning, legs, feet broke down. But they don't see a way out. But the school blueprint, they help them.
So I want to congratulate you for making a change in your life and for being a vessel for others, and just salute you, because you could have come out and when you got out of prison went back into the same thing that you were in before you went in there. And what I've learned as I'm growing in life is that our life is not really always about us. Because of the change that you've made in your life, you have blessed so many people, just like you said. Now you're helping individuals become free. So my hat goes off to you, because I think that is such a big thing that you took it upon yourself to change your life. And by changing your life, you have changed others' lives as well. And that's just so commendable. How does it feel to have overcome adversity and now live the American dream? Because you've overcome so much and you are doing so well and you have blessed so many people, your mother, your community. How does that feel from this 26-year-old young man or 21-year-old man that made those wrong decisions now to this grown man that has this different life?
Well, I'm living a dream. And the reason why, my mama's upstairs right now. She's 76 years old. For me to be able to take care of her, take her to the doctor's appointment, go get her McDonald's every morning, frappe, caramel frappe with her egg McMuffin with cheese, to go get her oxtails, to go get her chitlins at the soul food place. She won't stop eating that. For
I was
me
going to
to
say,
be
I
able,
thought Mama be eating healthy.
no, she's 76, and she said, Chin, I done lived my life. I'm not
Right.
fit to do this juice fast, nothing. So for me to be able to see her and for her to tell me and cry in joy and say, Chin, I have to pinch myself sometimes. I'm so
Yeah,
proud of you. I never thought
absolutely.
that I would have this. She said, I'm so proud of you. I love you. And for me to be able to give her her flowers,
Yeah.
to retire her, buy her
Yeah.
anything she wants,
Yeah.
no questions. Every morning I wake up and walk on the other side of the wing and check on her and ask her, Mama, what you want for lunch today? What you want for dinner? For me to be able to spend all day with her,
Yeah.
I wouldn't take $1 billion for that. There are a lot of people that's got money, but you know what? They're not around their mama or grandmama. They out doing all of that. Been there, done all that. Got the T-shirt.
Right. There are a lot of people that are joining in, and we're coming to our close. I just want to let you know the conversation that we've had today. So, you say Chin, so that's what people call you is Chin.
Mm-hmm.
Chin. So he is my guest, and he has around the age of 2021 went to prison, went there for some time. While in prison, he had the opportunity to be around other millionaires and learn from them. He came out, and instead of going back to a life of crime, he decided to do something else and further his life, and in that he became an entrepreneur. And he was at one point living on government cheese, having challenges in life, and now this man is a millionaire by the grace of God and the choices that he's made. So we've talked about his journey and how he's overcome adversity and how he's living the dream and is able to bless his lovely mother and to be able to be a very important person in the community and to give back to the community. And he did not let the naysayers change his mind for what he had to do. He did not let starting small change his mind for what he had to do. For those of you that are just joining, there was a time in his story where he opened up a building and he did not have a bathroom in this building. So many times we are looking for the perfect situation before we begin, and we have to stop that. Just start your journey so God can bless you and open the doors for which you are, where he wants you to go. Because there are many people who will not have opened that building because there's no bathroom. For you to sit here and be so transparent to share your story, how you use the bathroom in a bottle and in a waste bucket, and look at you now, it's just amazing. And I appreciate you for sharing your journey, because many people don't hear that part. They just see the glitz and the glam. And so I think it's so important. And I really appreciate you being transparent and sharing your story. My cousin just said, thank you for sharing your story. I have a cousin who was just freed, yep, from serving 19 years, who is making steps to rebuild his life. You are an inspiration. Yes, we do have a cousin that was just freed from being from, and he's gotten a job and he's getting married. So I love these stories of transformation. I love to see our Black men that are able to come out and overcome and be successful and be valuable in the community, because we have such a bad rap sometimes, and you don't have to be who society says you are. You don't have to be who you used to be. And you are a true living testament of that. Someone said you are amazing and blessing to so many. So I'm just very glad that we got a chance to connect today. The devil was trying to stop it because live would not let me go. This is the first day that has ever happened to me. So I know this story was supposed to be told on my platform, and I truly appreciate your story. Do you have any last words of overcoming challenges, or talking about opening up a school, how people can connect with you, or anything else that you would like to share?
Well, if there's any young people, put God first, listen to your mama, and never give up.
Amen. Amen. I love it. I love it. So I thank you today so much. I thank my viewers as well. Before we go, everybody, do you have any questions that you would like to ask my guests before we leave today? Please drop it in the little bubble. I thank you guys for joining in the conversation. Despite my technical challenges, We have a lot of people that have commented along the way. I'm sorry we couldn't get to everyone's comment to acknowledge you, but I wanted to tell you thank you so much. I did not want to miss his story as he was sharing. I wanted him to be able to have the natural flow to share his story. So I thank you guys for tuning in with us today. There's so many comments here, and we really do appreciate you today for sharing your story. Someone says, I'm from Miami and I'm 46 and I'm going back to cosmetology school. It's been over 24 years, but I decided to move to Atlanta and I'm going to open a school. That is awesome. I love it. I love it. It's never too late. I've heard stories multiple times, but I get inspired every time he hears your story or she hears your story. Someone says they worked for you for many years. His story is amazing.
Thomas James. Yeah, we'll go to lunch, Thomas. We'll catch up.
Is that who that is?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Someone said, thank you for your story. You're the GOAT. Guys, just trying to acknowledge you because we were just really trying to let him get his story out. So I thank you guys so much. All right. Well, we have come to the end of our story, our end of our time. I thank you for spending your afternoon. And I thank you for responding to my DM, because that's how we connected, was on Instagram. I saw your story going live. I said, I need to connect and want to share your story on my platform. So I appreciate you responding to the DM. Someone said, when are we going to lunch, man?
It's me and Thomas. Yeah, we'll go, Thomas. We got to hook up.
And cool, thanks. All right, awesome. So as I always say, everybody, every day is not perfect. And I say, especially during this time of the pandemic, we all are having some sort of challenges. Some people are, and it's been a blessing for some in this time. But I would like for you to find those joyful moments in your day and try to appreciate them. So until next time, for my people who watch me on my platform, I will see you guys on Wednesday. And just stay safe, believe in yourself, go for your dreams, start small. You don't have to start big, because look where you can end up. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in with us today. What a wonderful story of transformation and living your dream and providing for your family and overcoming adversity and being a pillar in a community. It's not where you start, it's where you end up. It's not how you start, as long as you start. Believe in yourself, forget the naysayers, do what you want to do with your life, because it's your dream. God gave you the dream, and you only you know where you can go. Hey, Angela. So I just thank you guys so much for tuning in. And if you missed the beginning of the conversation, please go back. I'm going to post it on my IGTV series. He is such an inspiration. I'm so glad I came across his profile and his live, because this has been amazing. It inspired me definitely to do something different in my life, or to add something new to my life. Guys, it's not how you start. You just have to start. Whatever your dream is, go for it. And we don't know how long it'll take, but you just have to go for it. I believe in you, and I believe in what God has put in us, and we just have to live our dream out. So have a blessed day. Be safe. Wear your mask. It's getting dangerous out here, so don't forget to wear your mask and wash your hands. I see a question. Let me see if someone's trying to put something in the box. Oh, no. Okay, awesome. All right, guys, until next time, I'll see you Wednesday at 3. Bye.